Now it's time for your 420 Radio News for Monday, August 12th, 2013. I'm Russ Belville. Eric Holder seeks to cut mandatory minimum drug sentences from CNN.com. The Justice Department will no longer pursue mandatory minimum sentences for certain low-level, nonviolent drug offenders, Attorney General Eric Holder said Monday, noting the nation is coldly efficient in jailing criminals, but that it cannot prosecute or incarcerate its way to becoming safer. The centerpiece of Holder's plan is to scale back prosecution of certain drug offenders, those with no ties to large-scale organizations, gangs, or cartels. He said they would no longer be charged with offenses that, quote, impose draconian mandatory minimum sentences. Holder said the nation must confront the reality that once people of color are in the criminal justice system, they, quote, often face harsher punishments than their peers. He called it unacceptable, shameful, and unworthy of the U.S. legal tradition. Holder said the U.S. prison population has grown by almost 800% since 1980, and federal prisons are operating at nearly 40% above capacity. Holder said overcrowding at the federal, state, and local levels is both ineffective and unsustainable. He said it imposes a significant economic burden totaling $80 billion in 2010 alone, and it comes with human and moral costs that are impossible to calculate. CNN's Gupta now okay with marijuana use, from the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette. CNN's Sanjay Gupta says he spoke too soon in opposing the medical use of marijuana in the past, and that he now believes the drug can have very real benefits for people with specific health problems. Dr. Gupta, the network's chief medical correspondent and a brain surgeon, detailed his change of heart in an interview Friday and in an article for CNN's website titled, "Why I Changed My Mind on Weed." He narrates a documentary on the topic that aired on the network Sunday. Dr. Gupta said he didn't look hard enough at research on the topic and found some new research that had been done since then. He was encouraged to look into the issue further upon meeting a 5-year-old girl in Colorado for whom medical marijuana has sharply cut down on the amount of seizures she had been suffering. Quote, "We have been terribly and systematically misled for nearly 70 years in the United States, and I apologize for my own role in that," end quote, he wrote. Dr. Gupta said he doesn't want people to apply his change of heart to the issue of recreational marijuana use. As a father, he said he wouldn't allow his children to smoke marijuana until they are adults. If they want to, he'd urge them to wait until their mid-20s, when their brains are fully developed, because of studies that show the drug can damage young people. Rhode Island police write about 850 tickets for marijuana, from USA Today. Police officers have written about 850 tickets under the new Rhode Island law that classifies possession of small amounts of marijuana as a civil violation, state officials said. The Providence Journal reports that between April 1st, when the law took effect, and the end of July, magistrates levied more than $110,000 in fines for possession of an ounce or less of pot against 663 adults and 92 juveniles. The state has collected about $61,000 of those fines so far. State police issued the most tickets, followed by officers in Providence, Warwick, Cranston, and Pawtucket. Denver Council to settle 39 issues around new retail pot framework, from the Denver Post. With legislation pending on whether to ask Denver voters to approve a 5% retail tax on marijuana sales, the Denver City Council on Monday will consider setting a host of rules and regulations for the new industry. Councilman Paul Lopez has been pushing an amendment requiring that retail marijuana stores be at least 2,500 feet from each other and 2,500 feet from a school, child care center, or drug and alcohol facility. The distance rule now for medical marijuana dispensaries is 1,000 feet. Children taken from medical marijuana prescribed parents in California, from RT.com. A family from Southern California is suing the city of Coronado after their children were taken away for nearly a year because their father admitted to legally smoking medical marijuana. The lawsuit alleges that police officers were called to investigate the residents after being told the family was running an illegal daycare center. But police found no pot, or a daycare facility for that matter. 3 days later, however, agents with the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services returned to the residence and seized the couple's 2 children, ages 4 and 2. Although the parents tried to take appropriate measures to have their children returned, their attempts proved unsuccessful for nearly a full year. During that span of time, defendants from HHS allegedly lied to the court, the family's attorney said, and insisted that the children were in danger. This has been your 420 Radio News for Monday, August 12th, 2013. I'm Russ Belville. When we come back, we go behind the headlines to take a look at the speech today by Attorney General Eric Holder calling for an end to mandatory minimum sentences in certain drug cases. We'll tell you the quirk of the law that's going to allow that to happen when we come back. You're listening to The Russ Belville Show on 420radio.org. Be back after these messages.